Intro for us.
Hey folks, this is Dr. Van Brady. At MCHC, we've secured the best providers and medical staff to care for you and your family. But sometimes your health may require more specialized treatment. MCHC has great relations with the best specialists in Hazard, Pikeville, or Lexington, making sure your referral is handled in a timely manner. Your health is the #1 priority of ours, and the ability to care for you is just another way Mountain Comprehensive Health Corporation is providing better health for a longer life.
Hey, this is Oliver Simmons. You're listening to You Know the Drill with Wes and Brady.
This is Aaron Harrison. You listening to You Know the Drill with Wes and Brady.
This is Alex Fortress. I'm on with You Know the Drill with Wes and Brady, and hopefully it should be a good time.
Brady. Man, you know the drill. Sponsored by MCHC, providing better health for a longer life. Shout out to Hometown 24 for letting us do whatever in the hell it is we're doing right now. But
you ever thought about, do you really know the drill?
Not at all. Not at all.
I wasn't, like we talked about, I wasn't the most athletic player. So I had to always know the drill, you know?
Yeah.
I had to listen. I wasn't fortunate enough to screw up.
I never knew it, man. I feel like most of the time when I got in trouble, it was for not knowing how to do the drill.
You were on it, or you were athletic. You weren't the superstar, but you just didn't know the drill either. They were just like, Wes, what are you doing?
Didn't know the drill. Go over there and do your box jumps. And
touch the rim, backboard slap.
Oh man, Brady, it's been a weird day because it's been super sunny outside, but it's like when the sun's hitting your skin, I feel like I glisten like I'm on Twilight, and then as soon as you get in the shade, it's like cold.
It is. It reminds me of like the time where like you got a big snowstorm and then, you know, like there's like a little sliver of a warmer day that melts the snow. It seems like that's what it's like today.
That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. I tell you what is your least favorite road in Lexington?
Man, you know what? I don't mind traffic. If you're asking, I don't mind traffic. You know, I kind of like sitting there, you know, I don't like sitting there, but I don't mind it. Like, it is what it is. Like, you can't, man, I don't know. Believe it or not, I'm going to go on an edge. I actually lived on Tate's Creek for a while. I hated Tate's Creek.
Really?
I don't know if anybody, I had to come into town every morning. There's a little, like, it gets backed up with one lane. Tate's Creek was brutal, man. It added like 15 minutes to get downtown. What about you?
Man, I don't know. I go back and forth. Like, obviously, that Nicholasville Road traffic at 5 p.m. is brutal, right? That really sucks. But then you've also got that part of Nicholasville Road where, have you ever seen another place like this anywhere in the world? You've got that stretch of Nicholasville Road where the lanes just change.
I've been,
you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Sometimes it's 4 lanes going this way. Sometimes it's 5.
It reminds you of like the Mario Kart where the lights light up and you get the boost if you go through the green.
Yes. It's wild. I talk to people all the time out of town that's coming to visit that's never been to Lexington. And all the time they'll be like, what the hell is up with that one road? They're like,
the one road.
I've never seen anything like that. But then again, I tell you what got me frustrated today was, you know, New Circle Road, right? It's like the speed limit is 55, but that's really too slow on New Circle Road, right? But then I like to go about a steady 62, 63. And so you'll get in this left lane and everybody's going 75. And then you start passing people pulled over. So you're like, oh shit, I better slow down. So you get over to the right lane, but they're going 55 and it's like too slow. So it's like, there's no common ground. I don't know what the solution is.
I always tell people when we lived in Arizona, the roads didn't get developed until the air conditioning. So the air conditioning is actually a relatively new, you know, newer invention. So they were able to, you know, build roads, you know, more modern. I don't know when Nicholasville Road and those were built, but I don't know.
Yeah. That's right. Pauletta just texted they do it. Yeah, I mean, obviously they do that road because of increased traffic
per times. Yeah.
per times. Yeah, but it's still it's so wild because it's just and I've always wondered. I've never been there when it changes.
I have.
So how does that work?
You just gotta like stop and blinker. Like there's an oh crap moment. Like you're just like, oh crap. But everybody kind of knows. You just kind of get out of the way. I'm a pretty big proponent of like, dude, your car's big. People get out of the way. Like
they're gonna move.
They're gonna move.
Which brings me to, I think me and you might have talked about this a while back. You've got that interchange on Harrodsburg Road, the New Circle exit, where
Double Diamond.
5 seconds you travel to Europe.
The right? Double Diamond. Yeah. It's cool. They're building one out here on Leestown Road.
They're building it on Leestown Road. So I always think about that. When did they and how did they first do that? Was it like everybody stopped?
The engineers, yeah.
You go now. Let's like when did it's like when did, which I guess you've got the stoplight that, but I don't know. Be interesting. I wish we had a recording of that. If anybody has a recording of that, let us know. That'd be interesting. I don't even know when that opened.
No, it would remind me of Billy. Was it Billy Madison when the person that the crosswalk worker or it might have been Daddy Daycare, the crosswalk worker where the bees hit the face and she's like, maybe not.
Yeah. No. Yes. Yes.
I don't do it.
Maybe we should set up lawn chairs over on Leestown Road.
You know the drill.
You know the drill. We'll go live. Absolutely. We'll set up lawn chairs.
If we promoted that though, if we promoted, the drill from the Diamond, I don't think people would think that it's actually at a road. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Diamond.
Right. You're right. I agree. Interesting. Love it. Oh, Brady, listen, it has been, man, I don't even know the word. You don't even have to be a Kentucky basketball fan to be a lover of the sport. I went to a show the other day, me and Van, who I got to mention something here in a minute, but me and Van were at a show the other night and we were talking about the roster and the temperature of Big Blue Nation. Right. And this dude steps over and he goes, sorry guys. He said, he said, I think people are making too big of a deal out of it. And he was like, I'm from Georgia. He was like, but I love Kentucky basketball. He's like, so I never get to talk about this stuff. He's like, so I'm just going to come over here and talk to you all about it.
It's a talking point, every time. It doesn't matter, this is the time where people overthink and, yep. you get to put your thoughts into something. And then it'll die down. Once they get the roster, it'll be football season and people will not really talk much about it until, Big Blue Madness. So this is the time that the heat's on.
People say all the time, and I feel like younger, I never really thought about it, but people say all the time that Kentucky is the hardest coaching job in America. But I think this is kind of what shows that, right? You watch what John Calipari went through at the end of his time at Kentucky, and you watch what has happened in the first 3 years of the Mark Pope era, and you start realizing this is probably the hardest job in America.
It's the hardest situation too. Like you got to think, not only did he, not only are you at Kentucky with the pressure and, on top of everyone now, like everyone can build rosters quickly in a year with money and depending on how much, because you got to think too, like, for example, like a school like Georgia, they may have $2 million in next year, but the year after they could get some crazy donation and get a $15 million roster. So it's changing. But also following up Cal, everyone would always talk about, we feel bad for whoever followed Cal, and then on top of it, just being the changing of landscape with the portal. And it's almost like you're starting to think it's almost like an impossible situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's starting to become that, but it's It's hard.
It's hard, man. It's hard. And you have to think, we look back at this, and John Calipari he revolutionized the game. He came in and he was going to recruit the best of the best players, and he was going to put them on a team. And I think he's the best in the world at managing that once he got those best players together. However, the fan base was, a lot of times they blamed it on either his coaching or that philosophy, right? Oh, well, you can't, we don't need these one and dones. You always heard about that. And now it's like you've got a coach that doesn't do really the one and done philosophy, and it's not good enough, right?
The fans are interesting, right? The fans grew up in a time, like a lot of the fans that are vocal about keeping players multiple years, they're used to the old time Kentucky where you had your Tubby Smiths, your Patinos, where, back in the day where they had a freshman team and you built your way up and you finally played as a junior. Like, it's just different times where like now fans have to be open to one and done because, you just had Mo Diabate for 1 year, right? You had freaking the point guard for a year. Like, you now have these guys for 1 year. So the fans are now forced to,
right.
They're forced to accept it. The unique thing about Cal is, like, that's the thing where, again, I don't want this to turn into like a Cal thing, but like Cal is really good at one year guys. Like, if you've ever seen a practice for Cal, like, it's very regimented on, like, it's exhausting, dude. It is exhausting to teach a new team a new philosophy every single year, because naturally, I think about like Bill Self, like, dude, he's always had like Perry Ellis, like these older guys to teach these freshmen to just like fall in line. Whereas, guys like Cal, like, he had to reteach everything, and he had to reteach it to like 10 straight guys every year. It was the same drill from day one. And it is literally, it's exhausting to watch, but he did it, and he did it really well.
Yep.
And there's guys that can't do that. And, and maybe it's Pope that can't do that. Like, it's hard. It's a different style. Like, it's really, really hard.
I was just talking to someone yesterday at work, a text, and we were talking in text, and we talked about how they said, yeah, I really hate that we're missing out on a lot of these top recruits. And, yeah, me too, right? You always want those guys. But it's just like you said, Brady. I don't know. I think one of the things we're going to have to get used to as a fan base is I don't know that that's Mark Pope.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I think we're going to have to get used to being those teams that you're not getting the number one recruit. You're going to be a little bit more of a UConn. You're going to be a little bit more of because I think that is, with John Calipari, he was so good at taking those best players in the world, getting them to play fun, fast basketball.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not Mark Pope. He has a system that those guys don't always fit into. And I can't sit here and tell you, I say that all the time, Brady, when people say, well, he don't fit into the Mark Pope system. I really want to look at him and say, what is the Mark Pope system? Tell me. Explain it to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
No, it's oh my gosh. Knicks are beating Atlanta 75-25 in the second quarter. Goodness gracious. You're right. It's the thing that I think is frustrating the fans is like how everything is happening. It's not, oh, you lost Tyron Stokes. Oh, it's lost. It's the things that led up to that. It's not that they lost at Louisville. It's what happened at the Louisville locker room. They're not losing in style. I don't even know if that's the right way to say something, but they're not, controlling the narrative very well.
Right. Right.
And like, you go back to the recruiting cycle, dude, they had 17 high school visits come in and not one committed. Do you know how much money that is in time?
Yep.
I'd be furious. Like, you got to figure 48 hours a visit on weekends, and you got to fly them in. I'd say minimum 10K a visit. You're looking at easily 200K, probably just, and not get one visit or not one commitment. Like, ignore the money, man. It's a lot of time. So it's the strategy. Like, you should have cut Stokes off. We'll talk about that later, but you should have cut that win in the fall if you kind of knew. But it is what it is at this point.
I agree with you, Luke, to a big point there. They did nothing to dispel the $22 million price tag. An honorary doctorate in return for a huge tax write-off. I would love that. No, I think he's right. I think that's one of your biggest problems is all year long. That was the storyline, right? Kentucky's $22 million roster. That was the storyline all year long. And when that is the storyline, you've got to win.
Yep.
You've got to win. And so I really don't think they did a good job at dispelling that and changing that narrative, right? They just let it ride.
Yep.
And that's dangerous. That hurts. There's teams that spent more than us overall in the country last year, but it was the $22 million roster storyline that I really, really, really feel like killed.
It's interesting. It's what's the case on this? Yeah, it's the strategy, I think, is what they're lacking. Like, what if you would have looked at their fall? If they would have looked at if you'd have looked at your fall. If you would have looked at your fall visit calendar, you would have thought that, we're going to go after, we're going to have you would think they have 4 high school kids on their roster right now that are elite. I think, you have to have strategy, but also, man, I'm telling you, you're Kentucky. Like, you don't bring every kid on a visit. It should be an honor. When kids get the offer from Kentucky, it's sacred. Like, you should yearn for that. It should be like and same goes for a visit, man. Not everyone gets a visit. Like, if you come on a visit, that should mean we really freaking want you.
Brady, you told me something one time, and I don't know if you want me to say this on air or not, but you can get mad at me after if I'm not allowed to say this. All right. But I remember you told me one time that one of the crazy things about Kentucky was that most schools cast this huge wide net for recruits, right? And one of the things at Kentucky that was so different was you didn't really cast as wide of a net. You maybe casted it to 15 or 20 people, where other schools were casting it to 50.
That was a learning curve for me at Arizona State. Arizona State, we would send offers out like crazy. Like, it was a lot more like football, which was different. Like, I didn't understand it. I still don't. But I think Kentucky, you had to be really careful because of only doing a certain amount of offers. You had to be really careful because, if you offered, if you offered a point guard and then you offer 2 point guards, now you're like, why has he got one? Are they worried? And like, you can strategically kind of play that off of them, but you can strategically say, like, hey, we're going to offer him if you don't commit in the next 2 months. We got to move on. Like, you can do stuff like that, but like, we were really strategic on making it a really big honor to get that. We didn't, because you don't want to be a hat at the table.
Right.
You don't want to be the hat at the table.
I don't know. One of the things that is really worrying me, somebody in our group chat, I can't remember if it was you, if it was Austin Kidd, one of the guys made the comment that, right now, all these photos are out there with Mark Pope and a lot of our top 2027 recruits. He's been on a lot of visits here lately, went fishing with the one guy, right? And he's making that push. And somebody in our chat mentioned that one of the scary things is certain Kentucky talk shows, certain media personalities, and a lot of the fan base are going to write this narrative that Mark Pope is on the hot seat. Is Mark Pope going to get fired? Should he be fired? Etc. And how hard is that to recruit a top recruit, 5-star recruit, if all you're hearing and reading is that, that coach is going to get fired?
It's going to be a really hard recruiting cycle for him. It's going to be really hard early if they lose. every age or every kid, every opposing school is going to use it against them. Be like, well, why are you even wanting to commit there? He's not going to be there next year. Or, it's hard. I mean, people do that when you don't have an extension. That's why you see some of these college coaches get extended for 5 years, just to allow recruiting to happen. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard. It's time to say it. Like, it's hard. But who knows? You really don't know. That's the kind of the beautiful thing. You don't know until you start playing.
Well, you really don't know. You really don't know. I want to pull up this photo here. Brady, this is the current state of Kentucky basketball. This is our recruits as of yesterday. They don't have it updated for today. But as you can see there, you've got 12 guys on the roster at this point, so you're almost full. And let's be completely honest, this could be your final roster, essentially. Obviously Mark Pope is out recruiting right now. He's in Israel, or he was in Israel. I'm not sure if he's back in or not. So, we know he's out still recruiting. Now that Tyron Stokes has committed to Kansas, we've got a little bit of a pool of money that we can throw around out there. But there's a chance that this is your core roster right here. And as we look through that, you even mentioned it earlier when we first pulled this up that this could be an okay team.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. It's going to be a really short rotation team as of if it's this. You're relying heavily. The scariest part is, you ideally would want to pair a star with Wilkins just because you think Wilkins will be really good. You just don't know. So you would want to, Wilkins could be a 20-point game of score. You just have no idea. But, it's going to be a really, really short, really short bench. I'd say probably 7-8 guys. But you never know. I've never seen Braden Hawthorne play. We've never seen the Ndaya kid play. Like, it's going to be interesting. We've seen Justin McBride play before, but it's a lot of unknowns.
A lot of unknowns. And we had Coach Spradlin at JMU, a good friend of ours, told us a little bit about Justin McBride during the season. I know we went over to Marshall and watched them play the Thundering Herd. He mentioned the capability of Justin McBride at the time, and he said he really could be the best player in the Sun Belt. He's not shown it at times, but he could be the best player in the Sun Belt. And Brady, the more I think about it, the more you look at him and the more I think back to the game that we watched, I think potential's there, and maybe being surrounded by a little bit better roster could help that and bring that out in the type of player.
And a little bit more limited minutes, sometimes it helps.
Yep.
But man, it's going to be hard, dude. The SEC is brutal next year. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a beast, man. I don't know. I also think too, if you're asking me, the roster's not winning a title.
It's going to be tough.
You're going to be tough. I don't see that. I don't see the national championship contenderness of it.
Yep.
I really don't. And I'm just going to say it. But if they can make a second weekend, I think that's a success with the roster that he has. But I don't see this as, if this team wins a national championship, I'd be really, really, really shocked with this talent. Really shocked. It would be a great coaching job. He would have to coach really, really well.
I agree. And, it's a guy that's backed in a corner. If he really is on the hot seat, maybe, he's going to pull everything out of his hat. One of the things I will say, me and you talk about all the time, especially with some of our other coaching friends and basketball friends, is one of the things I say is, I think this team is an improved roster from last year. No, we do not have an Otega Owe. All right. And I feel like that's what I get a lot of times. And I agree. We don't have a guy that is just a guy. You know what I mean? But one of our big problems last year was we did not have a point guard. I said all year long, if Jalen Lowe had been healthy, I think the outcome just with him was very different. Right. But you look at it this year, you've got Zoom Diallo at the point. I think he is an SEC body, right? He's strong. He's physical. As far as the players we've got, he's probably one of the more proven guys to this point at point guard. You've got Mason Williams, who can play a little bit of that point guard spot as a backup. So you've got a little bit of depth at that point guard now, I think, that we were missing. You do have a little bit of shooting now. Wilkins can shoot. Diallo, maybe not the best. Hawthorne can shoot a little bit. You've got Cam Williams back as a shooter. And then our new Sudanese guy. I've not even figured out how to say his name yet, Brady. If you want to take a crack at that.
Asmain Nadia.
That sounded perfect. That sounded perfect. He can stretch the floor. I've obviously never seen him play. Don't know where he came from, but the clips I've seen, he's got a good looking jump shot. So he can probably help you a little bit from outside. I think we've improved the backcourt overall. As far as the front court goes, all I heard all year last year, Brady, was everybody bitch about Brandon Garrison. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Well, he's gone. He's in Tuscaloosa. He's gone. So some people might look at it and say that Justin McBride and your Sudanese guy is an upgrade from Brandon Garrison and Mo Diabate. We will see. I don't know.
I think you're going to get more consistency out of Justin McBride. You know, you're going to, you know, I mean, Brandon Garrison, it's crazy that he won you 2 games that were really big games. You know, but you know, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. Imagine if that 5-5 would have retroactively passed. You'd have talked about, and I agree, it should not have been retroactively
agreed.
Implemented, but man, it would have thrown everybody off. I don't know. Actually, Kentucky would have been sitting pretty nice. They'd have had some money to throw around, and they'd have been able to get some guys.
Well, and that was going to be very interesting. We talked about that. You had a lot of teams who had spent all their money, filled up all their spots, and some of their players would have been ready to come back, but we would have had nothing, right? But Kentucky was in a pretty good spot.
Could you imagine if they'd have did it and like football guys could have come back? Like people would have been, I mean, it would have been crazy, dude. Imagine like not getting drafted in the NFL draft and you're like super depressed. And then you're like, oh gosh, I just can get him to go $1 million to go play back at Kentucky, or remember like Pavia could have just came right back.
Oh, Brady, obviously one of the things I want to jump into, you just talked about money. A large chunk of our money came from us holding out for the number 1 overall player coming out of high school, and that was Tyron Stokes. Obviously, just this week, he has made his commitment to Kansas, and Big Blue Nation had a lot of reaction to Tyron Stokes and his commitment to Kansas. It almost, Brady, feels like we got played a little bit.
Yeah, I think they did. I just like you lose the number 1 player. I wonder if I really do. I think I forgot who I was talking about this. Like, would Pope even have went after him if he wasn't from Kentucky? You know, like, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's a good fit. Like, I don't think the Tyron Stokes with Pope was a good fit to start. I think this was an out of character reach for Mark Pope to coach him. I think it was forced. You know, I think it was forced to recruit him in terms of you felt that pressure. He's from Kentucky. It was kind of like a match made in heaven, you thought. And then you kind of beat out Louisville. Like, you know, you take over the interest from Louisville. He's from Louisville. And so now it's kind of swinging in your favor. You got Nike backing you and all this stuff. But I don't think, like, if he's from Indiana, I don't think he recruits him.
You know, I've not heard anybody put it that way yet. And that makes all the sense in the world to me. I think you're exactly right. If he was not from Louisville, Kentucky, I don't think Mark Pope would have even went after
him. No, I don't think so either. And actually, like, you know, we talked about the roster, what was it, last year, where you think he kind of overcompensated a little bit for bringing guys that were just not really a good fit. You kind of maybe saw it this year where he was trying to overcompensate and maybe try to get this elite talent that he was trying to get through a high school space. It never worked out. So it's the kind of this identity thing, you know, the more you kind of dissect it, it's like, that's the hard part of Kentucky. You can't worry about the noise of what people are trying to get you to do. You got to kind of just focus, like, this is what I believe in. This is what I'm going to go after and roll with it. Because which I think he's doing with this year's team outside of the whole Stokes thing. But yeah, man, I don't think it would have worked. So people need to calm down a little bit about it's just the optics.
This show would be probably way more exciting if me and you duked it out on here about Tyron Stokes. But Brady, I can't disagree with you on that. I think that you could almost say that we dodged a bullet with Tyron Stokes. He's a player that he is from Kentucky. He was the number one player. He's probably one of the biggest hype players. Cooper Flagg was pretty hyped up, but in a long time. And so, Brady, you have to go after him, right?
He's elite. He's elite.
He's elite.
But he's a guy that you have to like. There's guys that, again, I don't know him personally. I'm not trying to discredit his character because I have no idea. But from what I've heard, guys like him, like you need to have a structure around him to keep him happy. Yep. and controlled. Like again, I can only revert back to Cal because I've got that experience with him. But like Cal had guys around DeMarcus, right? Cousins. Like he had guys around, some of these like tougher guys where, and I mean more about like assistants. Like you had the staff around you that could manage these personalities. And I don't know the guys in Kentucky, but you need to have like a solid foundation around them to control and talk to them. And it's almost like it would have been exhausting. Like it's hard.
Brady, here's what my mind keeps going to. And Keith, I promise I'm getting to your questions. Here's where my mind keeps going. People hated and talked so much shit that Jaden Quaintance didn't play. Why did we spend money on a guy that was only going to play a game?
Yeah.
You think that Tyron Stokes, number one player coming out of high school, the biggest hype dude, he's got way more hype than JQ coming out. This guy's going to be the number one overall pick in the NBA draft. You think he's going to play all year?
Yeah. You never know. But the thing that you're right, And you didn't know Darren Peterson was going to pull a stunt that he did this year this time last year. You're right. You just never know. And I forgot who I was talking to earlier this week. Like, I actually think Stokes probably would have been like a G League Ignite kid back in the day. There was no NIL. I think he'd have been a G League Ignite or overtime elite kid, just with how he's kind of went about it.
I don't think he wants to be in college. And here's the thing. You saw him mention it. Brady, the guy, let's be real. The guy literally gets on national television. He wants to do his thing on the NBA, just like we had some guys do last year. But he's got this Panini card out there. He makes it all about him. He don't even get Kansas right. He first calls it Kansas University and then the University of Kansas. Can't even get it right. Dude, I don't even know if he knows.
He's very, very good. Like, I get it. But, like, dude, he is extremely good at basketball. But,
super good.
I've never been in that position. Like, I don't know how I would be. It's, I'm happy for him. Like, that's awesome. Like, what you get to do. But I really think Kansas is a better fit. Bill Self has handled these kids. He's had multiple number one picks. He's had multiple number one recruits. I don't know about number one picks, but
I agree, Don.
I don't mind the miss, but it's the how you missed them, and you better have a backup plan. The fact it got to April, what was it? April 28th, and you had a high school kid commit when the portal's been open for 2 weeks. Like, that's where it's like, okay, you got to cut it. But it was already done, man. He went on an official visit the next day.
It was done. It was done. It was done.
It was done.
He was toying. Our fan base, he knew he would get an insane amount of popularity and clicks off of him taking a visit to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Throwing it off, getting our hopes up.
I thought it was Oregon. I thought he was going to throw everyone off and go Oregon.
I could have seen it.
So It's gonna be interesting. Like we need to talk about before. I mean, we can talk about Keith's questions, but we need to talk about the whole Duke Amazon thing. I've been reading up a little bit on it. It's pretty freaking cool, dude.
We do. I do want to throw this out there. I want to gauge you all too. So tell us how you feel at this point in time. You've had a little time to sleep and process it. How do you feel about the Tyron Stokes decision? Are you happy? Or are you upset?
Way people, man, you gotta be disappointed. Like, I feel like if you say you're happy, you can't be happy. Like, you can't be happy that the talent left you, but I think you can be like indifferent. Like, I don't know, like okay with it, maybe. I don't know, but like the kid, it would make I think it would turn if everything went completely smooth, he would have turned Kentucky into a Sweet 16 Elite 8 team.
Yep.
But
Agreed. I'm curious, Brady, I want to hear a little bit about tell us a little bit about the Duke Amazon.
Yeah, dude, it's like, it seems pretty cool. Like, I haven't really
Don says you're grounded.
It's interesting. To me, it looks like their games now are like, they've got like games on Amazon Prime, and then they basically sign marketing deals with the kids, to where they're like going to be in commercials and stuff for Amazon Prime. Like you see the Amazon NBA stuff. It's super cool, like unique. And dude, Amazon's the richest company in the world. So like, I'm sure, you know, I don't even want to know probably what they're probably getting paid, but the thing that's always impressive about Duke, and whether you want to hate them or love them, you never hear how they're doing it. You never hear how it's going down. So you do, it's whether it's their boosters, like you just don't really know. They're not out there to try to control stuff. They just give.
Yep. I'm curious, Brady, if you were Kentucky's athletic director, and you had the option, and you could have 3 marquee games on either Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, or Hulu, which one you picking?
Man, probably Amazon, man.
You're going Amazon Prime?
Amazon. Yeah, dude. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And it's going to be, that's pretty neat, dude. Like, dude, I don't even want to know what they're getting paid. Dude, you see now more and more numbers coming out about football teams being $40-50 million. Oh gosh, Embiid's down again. $40-50 million teams. It was crazy. I'm telling you, man, we're really close to private equity buying a team. We're really close. We're really close to somebody just buying a.
Yep.
They kind of already are, but we're really close to just a private rich guy to just come in and buy a.
Especially now that you've got the patches on the jersey.
Oh, forgot about that.
Got the patches on the jersey.
Yeah.
I do have to shout out.
I think you do 2 patches.
2 patches, I think.
Hulu or Disney is the biggest number of streaming customers.
I agree, Tanner. I agree. I like the options as you're watching Amazon Prime.
They're all owned by the same person anyway.
I do have to give a shout out our sponsor MCHC and supporter Dr. Van Breeding has had a watch party at his house. Check this out. So he made chicken thighs and is watching You Know the Drill live.
Wow.
In Whitesburg, Kentucky. How about that?
I wonder how we sound on the speaker.
That's a good question.
I know you got a good mic. I got to get me a mic.
I would have rather went to the watch party and listened to you today.
It was a watch party. The Duke Amazon thing is just another reason, it's another reason that you need people in the background of a staff to handle all this. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of what the frustration is with Pope. I think they have an infrastructure there that is focused solely on stuff like this. And I know the whole GM question. I think the GM, it's too late. You need to be a year prepped. You can't hire someone just 2 weeks before. It's a full season to prep for next year. Like, you got to be building relationships with agents and thinking about that stuff. It's hard. I mean, it's nothing you can just hire a couple days before and feel like you can get ready for it.
Yep.
Tanner's happy. Indiana's got a good team right now.
Indiana's rolling. Tanner, you compared this portal cycle to Indiana's last year. And I'd be happy if we ended up the year after the way you all did. So
he did. When Jerome Morton committed, he was like, "Dang, y'all are Indiana."
Speaking of Jerome Morton, we talked about this. A local Lexington kid went to GRC. Shout out Josh Cook, right? Went to GRC. He's a player that he had some pretty big games against teams like Gonzaga when he was at Washington State. But he's a player, you wonder, is he going to contribute? But that kind of leads over to Keith's question a little bit earlier. Brady, we talked about this. I don't know, Keith, I don't know that I can define Mark Pope's playing style. I would almost consider it more European than a lot of coaches over here. I feel like he likes to spread the floor and have a lot of motion, a lot of read and react off pistol actions and things like that. But I really don't know. And to answer that question in my mind, and Brady, we talked about this before, and comment your thoughts in the comments. What are the percent chances that Mark Pope wins a national championship at Kentucky? What's the percentage chance?
I'll let the comments decide. The problem with his style, I think he can coach. He can coach. The hard part now is, the players that you're looking for, you got to be so good at identifying the talent that fits. And, some of the players that you're asking for is your elite talent's going to come from high school. So the fact that he got no high school kids that are that elite talent is scary. Like, because if they're really elite, they're going pro. They're in the NBA. Like, they're going to leave after 2 years. Like, you know what I mean? Those kids are gone. The elite talent you're going to find at the high school level. But man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what percent chance. I don't know.
I think it's low. I think it's low. I think it takes, and that's the reason it's so hard to judge, especially if you're looking at a class like he's got this year. It's so hard to judge because what is Mark Pope's style? But if you know what his style is, I feel like it takes a certain type of player, and who really knows who gels together to make that happen, right? So, I think there's opportunity.
Well, there's opportunity.
There's opportunity.
There's opportunity, and just like what we're doing here, dude, there's nothing going on. There's no college football, there's no NFL. You've got the NBA playoffs that no one pays attention to until next round. There's just so much not to do that people are just sitting there critiquing this thing.
Yep. Well, it's interesting, and I think you can have. You take a look at UConn.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last 2 years, Dan Hurley is an unbelievable coach. I don't think he's a Kentucky fit, but for UConn, he's an incredible coach. When you look at that roster on paper, if it was attached to any other coach in the country, any other school, I don't know that you look at that and say, that's a national championship team.
It's a good point. But you know what he identifies? A trait.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a character trait.
Yep.
And he identifies like dogs. And I think he identifies like winners, like tough dog. He identifies guys, can they handle me?
You got to be coached.
And I think where Pope is trying to get, it's more of a skill. Yep. I don't think he's necessarily going after. And again, unfortunately, some of the stuff that they're asking for requires the skills, not like a tough skill. Like he needs a spot up shooter. Well, there's not too many really tough dog spot up shooters. You know, they're a little bit more finesse. They're like a Jackson Robinson. You know, he's not bringing any toughness to a team.
Yep.
I don't think Amari Williams was that tough, but he's really good. I mean, there's toughness to him. Ortega was really tough.
Ortega was tough.
Ortega was a UConn player.
Ortega, in my opinion, was one of the few players that came in ready for the SEC, and he was in an SEC school before in Oklahoma, but it's different.
That's what scares me about Wilkins.
Yeah,
scares me.
Yep.
You know, we can't sit here and say that he's going to put up 20. He could put up 8.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we had the kid at Arizona State. We had the MAC Player of the Year. He was short. He was like 6'2", so it makes sense. This kid's what, 6'6", 6'7"?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit different, but dude, couldn't come into the Pac-12. Couldn't get a shot off.
Right,
dude. It was like ultra speed. So it's
if Pope has another underproduction year, does a new AD hire his guy next year?
Scary. That's a scary job. That forget being a head coach at Kentucky, man. Coming in to take this AD job would be scary. You're gonna have to hire a new basketball coach probably.
And I think that's tough. I think it's I think it's terrible timing. You've got
sorry.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead.
I just think it's terrible timing. You had just bought out your football coach with more money than really what you wanted to spend. You have to save money for NIL. Mark Pope's buyout isn't crazy. I think Mitch kept it pretty low on purpose, right? It goes back to my theory on why Mark Pope was hired in the first place. But you've also kind of got this thing going on right now with the whole Mitch job and Andy Bashir asking for it to be. So coming in right now and trying to buy a coach out and hire somebody new is terrible timing.
Yeah. But we're not even about UK football having this stuff. Yeah, they got announced today. Did you see that?
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Tanner, it's SEC, man. We don't play. Big Ten.
What about all those comparisons? Is Kentucky the next Indiana?
Let's not forget the little what makes this a little bit harder than everybody's expecting is there's a guy behind the scenes right now that's causing ultra presser that we haven't talked about. There's a guy that's sitting on his couch right now that you know the media is going to pump every second.
And Clay Hall just spilled it.
Yeah, there you go. Good job, Clay. There's a guy that's sitting there that honestly, like, has been a UK, I guess, target for as long as I remember. I would say he's been a target for 15 years as a coach. So you add that on top of this, it's going to be unfortunately, man, if they don't win early, it's going to be unfortunately an absolute war zone on Twitter and then in the media.
It is. And I hate to be like this. I hate to say it. If you listen to certain daily talk shows, they're going to push it, man. They're going to push it. Should have hired Billy. He's sitting there. What are we doing?
Yep.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
It's
you're right. It's almost an impossible situation. I mean, we want to joke about it, but it's people's lives. It's impossible. And I think people need to realize that everything that's said on Twitter is getting sent right to recruits, whether we want to think it's not. Every meme.
You doing it?
Oh yeah. I mean, everything.
You see why are you visiting Kentucky? I mean, look at this. It's a laughing stock right now. If I'm a coach, that's what I'm saying, right? I don't believe that, but if I'm a coach, that's what I'm saying to these kids. I think it's going to be. And who's to say Billy Donovan wants the job?
He might not.
One of the things we have to remember, guys, this is a school that is so full of tradition. It has the second most national championships, one of the winningest traditions in college basketball history. It pays a lot. It's not the highest paying job, but it has the potential to be. You have all of that, but guys, I'm gonna be frank.
Hey,
I
Frank.
honestly, to coach at Kentucky, I think you have to be an asshole.
Yeah.
I think you have to be a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah, I think you have to be established. Like,
Mhm.
I think you have to have credibility. Now, Pope's got credibility. I'm just saying you have to be like look at what Cal did. Cal came from Memphis after being in the national championship game, was coming off of Derrick Rose, Tyreek Evans, like confidence can be, and he kind of came in on a social media when social media was starting. Billy Donovan now, I mean, he's won 2 titles. I would hope that he's pretty, coming from the NBA.
Yeah.
I think you have to be ultra comfortable with and confident in what you believe in. And I think you can't have social media.
Yep.
You can't be on it. You can't do it. And I don't know what's on it. I don't know, but you can't be on it.
You really have to not care.
You have to not care. Yeah.
You have to not care.
All you got to care about is the Jeff Ruby menu when you want to go to Jeff Ruby's or Tony's. I know you're a Tony's guy.
Tony's, man.
You're a Tony's guy. You just got to be, be happy enough you can walk in there and eat whenever you want and eat good.
That's it. That's it.
Tony's is good, man. It's the smell.
Those steaks, man. I've never eaten anything at Tony's other than steak. Couldn't tell you what the rest of their food's like.
Really? It's good. Yeah, I mean, you can't go to Tony's and not get anything else. Like,
right.
I've gotten a burger there before. The burgers are good, but I will say the Jeff Ruby burger is better. And it's only I say this only, but it's only like $23.
Mm-hmm.
A Ruby's burger, but it's smaller. They're not the Tony's is just like this tall, and it's steak.
You gotta eat it with a fork.
You eat hamburgers with a fork,
man. If it's that tall, I'm smushing that thing and cutting.
Coaching is no different than CEO of a company. Probably.
You're right, Keith.
You're right. You are a CEO. You are a CEO of.
You are
of a team. You have to be. And not everyone is a CEO.
They're not.
Not everyone's built for it.
Brady, one last thing. I know we're running out of time. We mentioned earlier that Mark Pope is he really? I mean, he really might be the first coach that's ever entered an active war zone to recruit, but flew over to Tel Aviv in Israel to watch Marcio Santos. What can you tell us a little bit about? Go ahead.
Is it Marcio or is it Marcio? Is it
I don't know. That's up for interpretation.
Marcio.
I'm sorry, Stumbo.
I don't know. I think I was talking to you about this before. Is the only thing I can read up on is he's playing in a good league, a really good league. These foreign leagues are so hard to evaluate. Like, unless you watch it every day, which you can see he's playing, Barcelona. Like, he's playing in a really good league.
Yeah.
So if you average, what he's averaging, I would consider him to be somebody that could produce. So, yeah, I mean, he looks good. It's so hard to evaluate a foreign player.
It's hard. I will say, like you said, great league. Maccabi Tel Aviv is known to be, one of the elite programs in overseas basketball in EuroLeague. So, I mean, you have to think he's putting up those kind of numbers in a league like that. A lot of these guys, Brady, a lot of your big-time European players that play in the NBA right now played in these leagues against teams like Maccabi.
We need to get Nate Sestina on here and talk about him again. See, he probably knows how he's playing.
I'm sure Nate knows. We need to get.
He knows that he played against the kid in Ndea. We need to see.
Oh yeah,
we'll get him on. He, dude, why wouldn't you just that's what Michigan's doing? I actually like just get like primary international professional players. Like I don't get like it makes more sense to get if you can get the good ones overseas, it makes more sense than the
It
high
does.
school. You can get an elite. It's
Illinois.
just, which I actually think it's stupid. If you can go get this kid, like how does it make him any different than a player playing the NBA that you can come get? Like in the terms of college, like they're both pros.
Right.
So like why can't you just go get I don't that's for a different day, but I don't see any difference.
It's a different day. We have to renew our MCHC contract before we can get into that subject.
It's stupid, man. I don't know. It's all messed up. They got to get a salary cap. They thought they did, and then just college just went above it.
I agree. I don't know. I think let us know your thoughts, even if you're not live. If you're watching this late, let us know your thoughts on where we're at right now with Kentucky basketball. I want to bring up Don here said, did Calipari ever make a decision based on fans' pressure? Fear Pope is doing this now. I think, Don, I'm going to almost go back with Brady and say that's one of the reasons he went after Tyron Stokes, right? Is because you're going to get fan pressure to do it.
There was better fits out there. And it's crazy. There's a kid from, it was almost a perfect situation for him to get two really good Kentucky players. Taylor Kinney ended up at Kansas as well. He was right up at Newport. I remember watching him when he was like a freshman. Watched him at an open gym. He was really good, but you lost two kids just in the back ear,
Yep. It's tough. But I love what you said earlier. I hadn't heard anybody put it that way, that had he not been from Kentucky, I don't think Mark Pope probably maybe makes a visit and extends an offer, but I don't know if he chases.
No, if he lived in if Stokes lived in Kentucky right now, I think they probably would get him. It's easier to keep a pulse on a kid's recruitment when he's closer. You're a little bit closer to him, and when you're out there in the West Coast and you can't figure it out, it's hard. But man, it's still exciting. I mean, you got football coming up. Did you see the new BCTC's getting bulldozed down? That was our tailgate spot. See BCTC's getting bulldozed down?
No,
they're building an entertainment district right there. They're going to put like a restaurants and shopping and
I knew they were kind of going for that, like what's over beside in between Acor and Great American.
Put a little boba tea thing where when you park your car, you'll probably go get a little coffee and walk around.
Yeah.
I know you. Oh, that we woke Winston up. There he goes.
Winston's pissed. His tailgating spot's gone.
They're bulldozing. I saw the news. They cleaned out BCTC, so they're going to bulldoze it down.
Winston's just mad because he had so much fun playing that game last year where he was throwing the football, and if you dropped it, you had to take a fireball shot.
No, was it the stupid game that I played where I was trying to make money and I ended up losing a lot of money?
He did that too. Did that too. If you remember the one, he was randomly tossing a football, and if you dropped it, they had to take a fireball shot, and it didn't take him long to realize that a lot of those college kids were dropping it on purpose because they realized, darn it.
We need a tailgate before that thing gets bulldozed. I think they're going to bulldoze it. I think after the football season.
I did not know that.
They're building some cool. Let me guess.
I knew they were going to put some stuff, but
it'll probably be a Drake's.
Oh,
it'll probably be a Drake's, a Starbucks. I'm trying to think of what would be perfect there. That's what we can have our next fan question. If you could pick 5 restaurants / stores that could go on that entertainment district, what would it be?
I could see a local taco going in there.
Local taco. That's a great point. Or like a Boondoggs. You also got to think that it's going to have to be a little bit affordable for the college kids because it's going to be open during, regular hours too. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe it's called Maybe it's called you know the drills. I don't know.
I think so. Put it in the comments. Summit City. Winston would love to see Summit City go into entertainment district. Let us know. We should call it Summit City, Winston. I think that's a good name.
Summit City, sponsored by John Kitchen. Kitchen will start something over there.
If there's not a Halligan's Bar and Grill, then I'm not going.
Just trying to picture on how this will work out, because there's only 7 or 8 football games. So like your primary revenue is going to have to come from like your day-to-day foot traffic.
Yep.
So like you got to think, but you got Drake's on Tate's Creek. I don't know if that'll make sense then.
Yep. You're right. It'd be interesting. Let us know. Let us know what food you would like to see in the entertainment district. But man, we're out of time. It's been good. Listen,
Real good.
You know the grills.
Ooh,
Hey,
that's why you're the CEO. You're built to be
that's
the
why
CEO.
Keith is the CEO.
You know the grills. I like it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I think it should be a logo with our face on it, Brady, and we should be wearing grills on our team.
Yeah, grills. Yeah, I like it. Well, we'll put in our RFP and we'll see what happens. Well, we'll start piling up the money. We'll see if we can get there.
Piling it up. Van, we need another MCHC check. So let Teresa know. Y'all, thank you for joining in. As always, I love it, love it, love it. Be thinking about this entertainment district. We're going to bring that up next week. Remember, we're now on YouTube. I know a lot of folks have a lot of hard time getting it on Facebook. I'm not sure what everybody's watching on. I know we've had a few YouTubers through the days, but remember, we're on there as well. There also, let us know some things you want to talk about for next week. We're happy to go ahead and tee some things up. Brady, I'm surprised we didn't play one of your Would You Rathers today.
I didn't have one. I came with just Stokes info. Maybe we say, would you rather, I don't know. Would you rather travel to Israel to watch a recruit, or would you rather, I don't know. We'll do it next time. I don't want to.
We'll have a good one. Thanks to Hometown 24 and MCHC for allowing us this platform. You know the drill.